Madam Clerk?
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 at SEC, notice of which was sent to the record and the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Battaglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to go into the approval of the minutes for the Council of the Hall and the regular meetings, April 7, 2014. May I have a motion to approve the approval of the minutes, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Battaglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, with that said, let's go into the city manager's report, please.
Mayor, thank you. First on our agenda tonight is a presentation of the painting and the proclamation. Mr. Schneiderman donated a painting to us that I believe was 1956, I think it was painted of. It's a cityscape from one of the streets in Hackensack. And I'd like to please ask him to come up. Mr. Mayor.
Whereas the city of Hackensack desires to recognize Marius Schneiderman's artistic talents as a painter and printmaker, and whereas Marius Schneiderman was born in Paris and has lived in Spain and Venezuela, which is where his early training as a painter and printmaker began. He is attending the School of Fine Arts in Caracas, and his first one-man show at the Tala Libre de Arte in Caracas in 1949. And whereas Marius Schneiderman moved to the United States in 1949, served in the Army, and received a bachelor's degree and master's degree from Columbia University, which he has put to good use by teaching art history, and art design. And whereas Marius Schneiderman has lived in Hackensack since 1956 with his wife, Suzanne Messing, with their first apartment being on the corner of Atlantic and State Streets, which provided the inspiration for the painting being donated tonight, which is a winter scene showing a partial view of the Masonic Temple, which is our Cultural Arts Center. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrus, Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the City Council, do hereby extend our sincerest thanks and deepest gratitude for the donation of this oil painting created by Marius Schneiderman to the City of Hackensack. Thank you, sir.
It is my pleasure, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, it is my pleasure to donate to my hometown this oil painting executed in 1956 from the window of our apartment on the corner of Atlantic and State Street. The picture is a winter scene showing a partial view of the Masonic Temple, soon to be, hopefully, our cultural center. That year, I married my wife, Suzanne Messing, who was working as a journalist at the Record, and we moved to Hackensack. We lived on the ground floor of the two-family house owned by Charles Toureau, a well-known electrician and a Hackensack personality. In 1959, we moved to our home on Summit Avenue, where we raised our 3 children and still live there. Our children all went to the Hackensack public school system. A long-time resident of Hackensack, my wife and I have been active in local affairs. As members of the Friends of the Library, we participated in the renovation of the Johnson Public Library. I participated on the bicentennial celebration of Hackensack and designed a poster for the event. I was active with the Hackensack YMHA on Essex Street, where I taught art and helped stage many exhibits and cultural events. I would like to mention that my wife served on the planning board under Mayor Serbo, and she ran for council in 1983, along with Emile Canestrino, under the motto, "Citizens for Change." Great. I would like also to mention that my work is already in the permanent collection of the City Hall and the Johnson Public Library. Well, thank you very much.
Would you like to,
I have a picture with the council in the picture.
Would you come up and get a picture? Would you come up, please, and get a picture with the painting?
Come on.
right, bring the painting down, stay there. Perfect. Fantastic, thank you. Okay. I'm sure that painting will find a good home in our Cultural Arts Center, and it'll be a great addition along with the history behind it. Okay, moving on. City Manager's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The poles and meters were installed on Green Street. We have 20 new parking meters there that have been installed. The Hackensack City News came out. It's going to be delivered via the Bergen Record. It's also located in the Health Department, City Hall, Building Department, DPW, and the library. It's scheduled for delivery next week in the Record. The Emergency Operations Center is coming along. We have an end of June deadline to make the grant deadlines from Homeland Security. That's a grant that we had reinstated after we had lost it. It's moving along. It's on time. We had one small glitch with the electrical service that was re-engineered, and they corrected that today. We gave the approval for that today, so that's moving along. So I have an extra conference room, and hopefully we don't have another major disaster like Sandy, but we'll have a place to operate out of too if there is a downtime in the rest of the city. And we're going to get a new generator out of that too, which is badly needed. Transit Village, New Jersey DOT called yesterday on a conference call with the state of New Jersey in reference to our Transit Village application. They had a couple of concerns that they needed us to address in our zoning. We're moving forward to take care of that in the rehabilitation zone. Two key components that they want us to make sure that we do include for final approval would be that we commit to the two-way street as we go along. It's an important part of it. And they also asked us about affordable housing. COA came out with its new rules and regulations. I think it was April 30th. I met with COA. We had to go to a Rutgers training course for municipal housing liaison. We got together for certifications actually, and COA is not even truly sure how to interpret the new rules. They're very intense, very confusing. However, it looks like Hackensack may not have an affordable housing component that looks like we may have met it. But we will need to get 425 units designated to rehabilitation. So the money that we have in our trust account, that $1 million, can go toward that, which would be good because we can only spend it on affordable housing and rehabilitation. The Memorial Day celebration is scheduled or ceremony I should say, is scheduled for Monday, May 26th at 10 a.m. at Veterans Park on Hudson Street. Please come. We should have a moment of silence maybe at the end before we depart today in remembrance of our veterans. We have pistol range estimates that we're getting. We're working through it with Green Acres. The pistol range has lead contamination, and we're seeing if we could compile some grant monies to help clean it up. Getting rid of the lead isn't the worst part. It's actually doing something with contaminated soil. That's the true issue. Archer and Griner, who is our redevelopment attorney, has a relationship with Green Acres and met with them last week, and we're trying to work through a few situations there so we can move forward with that project. We've received $153,000 in grants working with our grant writer to date this year. We're waiting. We're reviewing $1 million in potential grants. 350 were reviewed on top of that we did not qualify for, and we have about another $200,000 that are being reviewed right now. It seems that we have a ratio we get about 20 to 25% of the grants that we apply for. It's a rough estimate, but it seems to be a good one to work with. The CFO and I got together, in contemplation of bonding for the tax appeals, and we just did a quick glimpse of the city. Year to date, for 6 months of this year versus 6 months last year, our salaries are down overall for the city about $600,000. That also includes the picking up of the garbage twice a week as opposed to once a week. We're actually doing it cheaper than it was being done for once a week pickup. We changed some of the routes around. Overtime was cut in half at sanitation. So I want to thank everybody, the CFO, sanitation department, the new head of the sanitation department, John Hines, for his help. It's been working out very well. Our legal bills, we did a quick evaluation because I know there's some concern about legal bills, and a snapshot from July 1st of 2012 to May 1st of 2013. City paid legal bills that were our responsibility. Does not include planning board or zoning board. We're $900,000, so a little bit over $900,000. The same snapshot from the reorganization last year of July 1st, 2013 to 5/1/14. They're about $600,000, so that represents a 30% savings. A little over $300,000. So great job to the mayor, council, and everyone for pitching in on that, and our municipal attorney as well for helping there. The next item up, I see the PBA's here tonight with the director. Thank you for coming. We were in closed session earlier before talking about trying to get the resolution done for your contract. We're working toward it. So I'll let you know that we're going to meet again after this meeting tonight to see if we can come to a resolution for you. So thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate that. And Mayor, that is all I have for tonight. I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go with Resolution 191-14.
Resolution 190-14, final adoption of ordinance number 18-2014, an ordinance amending section 170-70 entitled Schedule 21 Parking Meter Zones of Part 2 entitled General Legislation of the City of Hackensack Municipal Code. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
You have a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor? Aye. I'm sorry, roll call.
Councilmember
Thank you, Attorney.
Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come to the microphone and give your name and address to the clerk.
Regina DePasqua, Parker Avenue. I don't know, has it always been to 9 p.m.? It says shall be unlawful between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on any day but Sunday and holidays. And any of the
so.
streets described except on deposit appropriate fee. I mean, if I want to go to dinner on Main Street, I gotta go feed the meters? People that live there gotta come home from work, gotta feed the meters? I thought it used to be till 6.
Should be.
I think we had 6. I think we did.
It says 9.
That was supposed to be fixed.
Yes, it was supposed to be.
That was supposed to be fixed. It was
Yeah,
not
9
6
is no
o'clock.
good.
No.
Mayor, I think this was, if I may be heard, I believe that this was raised at the introduction, and it was corrected by the clerk that this was 6 o'clock, because anything that's not underlined
Right.
is not being changed. The problem is, I think, in transcribing originally, that somebody typed 9 instead of 6, and I believe the resident is correct that it is currently 6 and it's not changing. And I believe that unfortunately, that typo has found its way into this one as well without being corrected, but it is 6.
It is 6 on the original
It is
introduction.
6.
Can we make that correction now, clerk? Please put in 6, and for the record, it's between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Okay, that's a correction.
Thank you, Mrs. DePasqua, for still noticing that. Would anybody else like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 18-2014 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Okay. Resolution 191-14.
The final adoption of ordinance number 19-2014, an ordinance amending City Ordinance number 12-2-13, enumeration of licenses, miscellaneous services, and fees. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
May I have a motion open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward and give your name and address to the clerk. Seeing none, motion to close to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that the ordinance number 19-2014 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Moving on to resolution 192-14.
Is the final adoption of ordinance number 20-2014, an ordinance amending section 148-36 entitled Public Utility Corporation Bonds and Fees of Part 2 entitled General Legislation of the City of Hackensack Municipal Code. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
May I have a motion open to the public, please?
Offered.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City of Hackensack, by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey, that the ordinance number 20-2014 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Okay. Resolution 193-14.
Final adoption of ordinance number 21-2014, an ordinance amending City of Hackensack Rehabilitation Plan for the Main Street area in need of rehabilitation. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
May I have a motion open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 21-2014 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Okay. Resolution 194-14.
The resolution authorizing refund for Hackensack Junior Volleyball registration.
I have a motion, please.
Offered.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 195-14.
The resolution authorizing change order number 1 for Engine 2 Firehouse Rehabilitation performed by Fowler Construction.
May I have a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 196-14.
The resolution authorizing tax refunds.
May I have a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino?
Aye.
Councilmember Sims?
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
Aye. Resolution 197-14.
Is a resolution authorizing raffle license for Hackensack University Medical Center and Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Have a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino?
Aye.
Councilmember Sims?
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
I abstain. Resolution 198-14.
Is an authorization for accrued time payout for Christopher Coley.
Have a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino?
Aye.
Councilmember Sims?
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
Aye. Resolution 199-14.
Is a resolution authorizing tax appeal attorney to settle the cases set forth on the settled case list dated April 16, 2014, attached here too.
Correct
Have
date?
to the day.
You get that one, the second one.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino?
Aye.
Councilmember Sims?
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
Aye. Resolution number 200-14.
Resolution authorizing tax appeal attorney to settle the cases on the attached list dated May 20th, 2014 that were scheduled for trial or settlement. I just want to note that there was a date correction on this resolution from April 16th, 2014 to May 20th, 2014.
Thank you. Have a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Greenman? Councilmember Pataglia, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino?
Aye.
Councilmember Sims?
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
Aye. And resolution 201-14, payment of bills.
Current funds being at $782,108.46. Total expenditures at $2,523,478.63. And interfunds and transfers at $97,285.76.
May I have a motion to approve the bills, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, that takes care of that business. Okay, may I have a motion to open to the public, please?
I'll offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Sims.
Aye.
Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Before I open the meeting for public comment, I want to go over some basic ground rules. This is the time for you, the public, to address the council with issues for which you wish to be heard. I ask that you refrain from personal attacks, dialogue which would be considered defamatory or libel, and the council will not tolerate derogatory or foul language. If you have an issue with any member of the administration, please address the chair. If that person then wishes to respond to your comments, they will then do so. Everyone will have 5 minutes at the podium, and at the end of 5 minutes, you will be asked to please stop. We ask that you act civil and respectful, and we too, as a council, shall do the same. When you come to the podium to speak, please address the city clerk and give her your name and address for the record. Thank you. Okay, floor is open to the public.
Regina DePasqua, Parker Avenue. I think it's great that the county is paving Summit Avenue. Just wish they weren't doing it at 8 o'clock in the morning. Just wish we had some notice. Just wish that anybody drive on Prospect Avenue yesterday morning between Essex and Passaic Street, it was a nightmare. And I was trying to get to Paramus. They weren't gonna hold the funeral for me, okay? And I was trying to get down Prospect Avenue at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was a nightmare. Oh, you can't hear me? It was a nightmare. We had no notice. All of a sudden, streets are closed. High school was right there, 8 o'clock in the morning. Then today, it was really quiet in my neighborhood, and that was nice. But when I go to get out on my block on Prospect Avenue, my street's closed. Cones. I live on the street. I didn't know my street was closed. we have Nixle, we have email, we have ways of notifying people. No notice, nothing. And, you know, maybe I would have left at 7:30 yesterday morning to try to be at Paramus by, 8:15 to be where I needed to be. But I had no notice. It just would have been nice. I know it's a county job, but the county has to consult with the city, and the city should have let the residents who are affected know. And that didn't happen. I also have a problem with the tax refunds, Resolution 196. There's nothing listed, nothing. And Resolution 199 and 200, attached list, nothing attached. We have nothing. Our package has nothing. Our package, our agenda has nothing. I don't know if you have something we don't see, but 196 tax refund, absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
There's nothing listed.
okay. Our bad, because we have it. Public must not have gotten it.
And the attached list for 199 and 200, nothing attached. I mean, we're supposed to remember if it was put out previously, weeks ago, a month ago, nothing there. I don't know. The other thing, the issue I had with the cow meeting being paid for personal purposes using a city vendor. All I can say is just because you can do something does not mean you should do something. Just does not sit well with me. I have a problem with it. Maybe it's my problem, but I'm not the only one who's got a problem with it, that it's, the resolution is to videotape the cow, I'm not to videotape the council, and for somebody not to be able to separate his personal from his business right here, right now. If he is doing it for personal reasons, I have a problem with it. And that just doesn't sit well. Doesn't sit well with me. If he wanted to have one of his friends videotape, I wouldn't know. But because Anthony, because you're using a city vendor to videotape, that's just, there's a gray area that you shouldn't go. You never go into the gray area. And if you think it's okay to go in the gray area on that, I do have a problem with it. I think you should know the line and not cross the line. And the residents, several of us have a problem with it. And it's okay.
The council
All right.
said it was okay when we're in the back, so it's up to them to discuss if they like to.
All right, so why is it okay? Why is it okay for the city manager to personally pay the videographer to video the cow meeting when we never video the cow? And I don't know, but was he the one that last cow meeting asked for the videographer to be here? We don't do that. It's not authorized by resolution. Why we paid for the last one, but he'll pay for this one. Why is it okay?
Well, I didn't say it was okay. As I stated earlier, the council was not going to pay for this tonight. We needed to pass a resolution in order to tape the cow meeting, and that wasn't done.
Okay, maybe the city
And
attorney can tell me why ethically it's okay for the city manager to use a city vendor for personal reasons. Even though he's paying out of his pocket, why the appearance is not a good appearance.
Sir?
Mayor, I'm not, I can provide an opinion concerning that. All I've provided an opinion with regard to the city council is that the city council has passed a resolution to videotape the public meetings, which it's doing now.
Only council.
And the cow meetings, it has not. So the council controls that. This is the council's meeting, but as I have informed the city council, anyone can videotape a meeting.
Is this now public record or not, this tape?
And
Right.
Mayor, I would ask that
Please,
you.
no comments from the, only from the
But
podium. Thank
that's
you.
where it's going. That's exactly where it's going. Is now, this now, have to be put on the website, which is city time, a city employee doing that, because the city manager had this done, but he's paying out of his own pocket. For what
5
reason?
minutes
Are we over 5?
Yes, we're over
All right,
5.
we're over
I
5.
finally went over my 5.
Thank you, Mrs. DePasqua.
Lynn Hurwitz, Hackensack. I moved here more than 50 years ago. My children grew up in Hackensack, went through the Hackensack school system. I'm very proud of my city. I love the city I live in. While the streets of this city are not paved with gold, Mr. Rotino, this is not a third world country. And I really took offense at that quote in the newspaper. I think you should be careful what you say. I just want to ask a couple of questions, Mr. Mayor. The Hackensack City News, who's paying for this?
That was paid for through the city, I
The
believe.
city is paying for this?
Yes.
And you said it's being distributed by the Bergen Record?
Well, we paid the record to distribute it, correct?
And what is the cost of that?
I don't know, Mayor. I wasn't part of the
No, you
distribution.
don't know the cost of what this is?
I wasn't part of the distribution network on that.
Who is the part of the distribution?
Do you remember the
network?
exact cost on the mailing? I don't remember the exact cost on the mailing, Ms. Hurwitz.
Paid by the city, that's paid for city for change.
Who's writing this?
That was written by Mr. Amarato.
Oh, well, it's nice to see that he's earning some of his money. I just have one question of Mr. Sims. I asked you several weeks ago, you made a comment in the newspaper, and you refused to answer me, and I noticed that when the Bergen Record asked you the question, you said you had never done that, you have never used that word. I'd like to know, Mr. Sims, whether you did or did not use that word, and I again say to you, if you did, then you owe the city of Hackensack an apology.
Ms. Hurwitz, I cannot comment.
You still, well, you commented in the newspaper. You commented in the newspaper. Are you telling me that you can't comment to me?
Yes. I cannot
Well, then
comment.
maybe you
He's-
should not.
Ms. Hurwitz, he's made his statement, he's not going to make any comment on his
understand, Mayor.
comments. Okay?
I've
So
been
let's-
here-
If you have more, let's move on to that.
Thank you very much.
I
Well,
appreciate
it
it.
wasn't my 5 minutes. Thank you.
I know, no, you have more time. You're free to keep talking, just not on that. Thank you.
Richard Salkin, Hackensack, New Jersey. Mayor, how
Yes,
come
sir.
Jerry Lombardo got 6.5 minutes? You know, you can't do this unevenly. Don't cut me off at 5 minutes, although I don't think I'll.
Was that during the
Yes, it was, when it was. over.
cow or the council's meeting?
Oh, I don't remember. It doesn't
Was it
make-
council, the cow meeting, I did allow people to go over 5 minutes. Council meeting, we kept them to 5, I'm pretty sure.
Can you show me a resolution that this council is?
No, I cannot. We went over that. I know what you're going to say.
Well,
Absolutely.
Then why don't you do something about it? Pass a resolution, establish your ground rules. It's not difficult.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'd like to talk about the municipal court tonight. Has the issue regarding the health benefits for the municipal prosecutor been resolved?
Not as of yet, no, sir.
You do realize that Louis Denise has been the judge since 1985. He doesn't get health benefits. I don't believe Mr. Rotino, you didn't extend it to the public defenders, did you? Would you ask the city manager, the interim city manager, if he extended it?
You may answer that, sir.
No, sir.
No. It was strictly to Mr. Catania.
I did not extend health benefits to Mr. Catania, sir.
Who did?
Mayor, I don't know if we should go into the, I explained it at the one meeting. I don't know if you want me to go there because I don't know where this is going to wind up going, so.
It's a question.
If it's on record already, there's no reason to bring it up again then.
What?
I mean, did he answer? I don't know what
I have no
the
idea.
answer was.
The last time I heard this topic, you said the council had nothing to do with it. The only other person who I think can authorize anything under this form of government would be the city manager, the interim city manager. Is he now saying he did not authorize the municipal prosecutor to receive health benefits? That's all I'm asking.
Well, I can tell you this, Mr. Salkin, the council did not recommend or approve that.
Okay, now we asked the interim city manager if he authorized it.
Interim city manager, did you authorize health benefits for Mr. Catania?
No, Mr. Catania started in July of 2013 prior to my working with the city, and he was hired. There's a civil service form, I believe it is, and employment documents that he signed and signed by the previous city manager and the court administrator at the time. Hired him at the time. Also, his HR paperwork indicated that he was entitled to health benefits. There was an opinion letter in there saying that Mr. Catania could receive health benefits if the city wanted to provide them to him.
Okay, that's not it. You have there's an attorney's opinion letter in this file covering this situation?
Yes, sir.
From the city attorney's office?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. I heard, I was a municipal prosecutor about 6-7 years, and it worked pretty well. You had a court administrator, a deputy court administrator, and some very hardworking young ladies, very much underpaid. I think their titles are docket clerks, senior docket clerks. And I heard that the council or the city was going to create a second position, a second deputy court administrator. And then I heard the name. And I also, knowing these people, know that Mr. Battaglia's spouse did not have the certifications, the qualifications for it. But I said, but, you know, they'll let her get it. But I know immediately when she was appointed, or presumably appointed, she got a raise, as Mr. Gelber, young Mr. Gelber pointed out, $10,000 immediately, correct? You're nodding, Mayor.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. However, I understand that she's not actually been appointed. That whole process has been abandoned. There is no deputy court administrator. Is that also correct?
That position was eliminated, yes.
Was the raise rescinded?
I believe not.
So, Councilman Battaglia's spouse got a $10,000 raise and is the same position. Are you going to give $10,000 raises to the other young ladies in that department, Mr. Mayor?
Absolutely not. Well, number one, I didn't give raises in the first place, Mr. Salkin. I would defer to the city manager who handles personnel on what their raises were, or her raise for that matter. And I'm not even positive that she still has that $10,000 raise.
Well, will you report back at the next council meeting whether Mr. Battaglia's spouse has given up that $10,000 raise, whether it's been taken away from her?
I will.
Thank you. And Mr. Battaglia, come se delatera el nepotismo, amigo? Means, can you spell nepotism, friend?
I can't expect something to you.
Excuse me?
Easy.
I didn't hear what you said.
Please, no back and forth,
No,
Mr. Salkin.
that's what he said. Did you hear what he said?
I didn't hear what he said either.
Anybody?
No.
Good seeing you, Leo.
My name is Dr. Robert Conti, 15 Warren Street in Hackensack. I came to discuss tonight the conversion of the parking lot on Warren Street into a park. I've been a doctor in Hackensack for 31 years. I moved from State Street to Warren Street 11 years ago, and one of the main reasons I moved there was because of that parking lot. I have a fairly high volume practice, so I need 10 to 15 parking spaces for my employees and my patients at any given time. I was just in the process when I heard about this new building, which I think is ill-advised, that apartment building with 220 units and I think 146 scheduled parking spaces for that, was ill-advised in that space, because even before this, the idea of the park came up, that I was feeling very threatened with that parking lot being used by visitors and just overflow from the people living in those apartments. So I think that is something that concerns all the business people at 15 Warren Street, at 27 Warren Street, the Landmark Building, the group of attorneys that line the area of Warren Street that goes up to Main Street. And I was in the process, as I was saying, of expanding my practice, bringing another doctor in, more than doubling the space, and I stopped short. I was going to renew another 5-year lease, but when I heard about this parking, it scared me. So it's leaving me with a position where I wanted to more than double my retail, well, not my retail space, my space in my office, bring another doctor in, expand my facility, and I'm not going to do that until I know that that the parking thing is settled. And it's just not me. I'm speaking for myself. Now, there's a lot of people on Warren Street that are very, very uneasy. We're all nervous about our businesses. If Hackensack is trying to expand business, give us a break. Let us do it. Parking is critical in expanding a business. We can't be, cut back. I mean, it's a nice idea making a park, but I have female patients. They come up to my office. If they have to go through a park at night, when they have to park their car down the street or outside on the main street and walk a distance to my office, they're not coming. That's not safe at that hour of night. So that parking lot that's right up against the building right there is convenient and it's safe, and people don't feel threatened. So while a nice open space in a park may sound like a good idea, it's not a good idea for that part of town. The courthouse out of town is a business end of town. It is not. I mean, you put a housing development there, which I didn't think you should, but it's there now. We got to deal with that. Don't make it worse. Don't compound the mistake. Okay, that's my feeling.
Thank you, sir. Next, please.
How you doing, Earl Warden, Elaine Terrace, Hackensack, New Jersey. This is the city of Hackensack, which is in the county of Bergen, which is in the state of New Jersey. Am I correct?
Correct?
Okay. It is a public entity, is it not?
Correct?
Okay, so therefore it also has to abide by state rules and regulations, correct?
Correct?
Okay. I have in my hand a state regulation by the Department of Labor and Workforce that has been violated against me. I've given all the paperwork, which I will hand the clerk, to Mr. Costner in regards of hours and monies that I am owed. It seems to just to be ignored. I am no longer a city employee, so now I am going to be coming to the mic. I did eventually resign. I didn't want to after 16 years of giving my time to this city. But you have people in place that force my hand there. To the people in Hackensack, I want you to know that there is a very high double standard in this town. You deal with some people one way and other people another way. Like I said, I have a state statute here that states that I should have been paid hours that I worked way back in January. I did give this entire package that I'm going to hand to you that you guys can look at to the personnel director, Mr. Costner. I am sure he gave it to Mr. Rotino, okay? And I bet you it never got to none of you guys. And it's just been totally ignored. You can give it to your attorney. I'm sure he can look this over. Like I said, you can go onto the website itself. It is from the state of New Jersey, Department of Labor and Workforce Development. This is a state statute that is being ignored. You guys think that you can just run over and bully people and, you know, don't pay nobody no attention. That's just wrong. There's many rumors and different things out there about me, but in time, it all will come to pass. You know, the truth will come out, what's really going on. And when it does, for some of you guys, I wish you well. You know, but I will be here at every council meeting because I have several other chapters that I will be releasing. See, I was on the inside. A lot of these people don't know what goes on behind closed doors. They know what they hear here, but they don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And it's unfortunate because I voted for you guys, and I'm really sad that I did now. I really wish I hadn't. Because you guys, it's funny. Unless this is another Christie administration, Mayor, where you have people underneath you who are doing things that you know nothing about, it's sad. But I really don't think you know about some of the things that are going on to what happened to myself and several other employees who were long, dedicated, hard workers. My family's been here since 1966. I've lived here since 66. There's many people in this audience who thought I had a bed at the wreck. That's how much time I used to put in and give down there. And to be forced out the way I was forced out, and the things that have been done to me since the personnel issue came up, the different rules and regulations that you guys just seemingly disregard or ignore, state regulations that your underlings, your city attorney, your city manager, and the personnel director, they just totally ignore them. Or they apply them to certain people and then other people they don't. I'm trying not to cross that line, but I do think it's a racial line that they do what they do. And I'll bring that up in other meetings. Because yes, there is a double standard in this town. Maybe not by you guys that you think, but you have people underneath you who definitely work by a double standard. That's all I got. I will hand this to her. I hope to get a response maybe now that you guys know. You know, I heard you talk about lawyers' fees. I'm hoping like I don't have to add to that bill, that this could be resolved, you know, the right way. It should have been resolved a long time ago. But like I said, this is a state statute. This is not something I'm pulling out the blue. This is a state statute that your people that you have in place are just totally ignoring. And I don't think that's right.
Could you please give that to the clerk and she'll make copies for the council, please? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor.
Sir?
Council. Mr. Battaglia, before I start, I just want to extend my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
On the loss of your, I believe it was your mother. No matter how old you are, it's still difficult, as I went through not too long ago. At the end of the May 6th meeting, some comments were made at the end, and I wanted to follow up regarding Mr. Amarado's salary. It's $78,000, and Ms. Canestrino, I believe you had indicated that that was based upon the previous PR guy who was hired to do PR for the economic redevelopment. He was being paid $48,000, and because Mr. Amarado was going to be doing citywide issues, he was only getting another $30,000. You know, the prior council didn't already have $130,000 economic redevelopment director. And I went back to the ordinance that created Mr. Rotino's position on August 20th, 2013, and we're paying Mr. Mr. Rotino a lot of money, plus benefits, to design and implement campaigns to attract industrial, commercial, and other economic development into the city. Now, as I read that, and that's part of the ordinance creating Mr. Rotino's job here, we're paying Mr. Amarado and Mr. Rotino to do the same job. So when the prior council, and I could see they did pay $48,000 to a prior PR guy, we weren't also paying someone $130,000 plus benefits to do that job. So I want to know why, and I'll get to the second part of my questioning in a moment, but it seems to me we're paying two people to do the same job. And I don't think that's right. And I know the two of you have taken a position on this, and Mr. Sims, you had indicated that everything was being looked into. And another 2.5 weeks go by. Mr. Mayor, you've indicated that Mr. Amarado had written the Hackensack City News articles, and this guy's still here. So now I come to the second part of my questioning, because, and I'll direct it to the chair because I'll follow protocol. But the second part of my inquiry is, Councilwoman Greenman, who was not here at the May 6th meeting, so I couldn't ask her then. But at the May 5th meeting, she indicated that herself, Councilman Sims, and Councilman Battaglia knew about Mr. Amarado's full-time county employment because it came out during a discussion when you were discussing whether or not Mr. Amarado would receive benefits. So now here's my question. I guess it's directed to Ms. Greenman, but I'll direct it to the chair for wherever you see best, Mr. Mayor. Why would a discussion of benefits come up when interviewing a vendor?
Would you like to answer that?
Well, and I'm asking because Ms. Greenman is the one who said.
I'm on the record that night as saying just that.
That's why I'm directing my comments to Ms. Greenman.
I can't answer that for Ms. Greenman.
I understand. That's why
and she chooses not to answer, so.
She chooses not to answer the question.
Correct.
Why tax-paying healthcare benefits came up during a conversation with a vendor? You don't want to answer the question?
You're misinterpreting every fact. As an attorney, you should know.
As an attorney, I'm paid to listen to what you said.
Well,
a lot of people were here that night.
You misinterpreted the fact.
The video doesn't lie. The mayor.
All right, let's keep this civil, Jay. Come on.
The mayor has indicated that no such discussion took place. You indicated a discussion did take place. So I'm asking, why would that discussion take place?
That discussion did not take place in the time frame that you're referring to.
Okay. Was any discussion made with Mr. Amarado regarding benefits?
It did not happen in the time frame you're referring to, and I'm going to stop at this point.
Who's talking like a lawyer now? Mr. Mayor, can I ask?
You're making it sound like it's a terrible thing.
No, I don't think it's a terrible thing. But I think you were elected and you're evading the question on purpose.
I'm not.
Okay. So in any time frame between...
All right. I'm trying to avoid a lot of back and forth here, all right?
Well, Mayor, I believe
she's not going to answer that question, so,
okay.
All right?
Mr. Mayor, can you comment, and I only learned this at the last meeting, of why Mr. Rotino needs a remote car starter for his already taxpayer-funded car?
I can't answer that. I didn't know it to the last meeting myself.
Okay, because I have a remote car starter, and it's really nice in the summer, but I pay for it myself.
So can you tell me why Mr. Rotino needs one? Why these cops in the back are still fighting to this day to get a fair deal?
I can't answer that for Mr. Rotino, Jason. Sorry.
5 minutes.
Mr. Rotino, can you answer that question for me as a taxpayer?
Which part?
5 minutes.
Which part? The part that you
5
need
minutes is up.
a remote car starter.
No, Mark, your 5 minutes is up.
That was
Thank you.
convenient.
Good evening. Rich Gelbert, Clinton Place, Hackensack. Mayor, an article appeared in the Bergen Record that stated the city has a potential $30 million liability to property owners who have filed tax appeals since as early as 2005. Of that liability, $10 million may be paid this year. That is more than 10% of the city's operating budget for the year. Let's compare that problem with a family that makes $100,000 in disposable income, a PBA member, if you will. If this family was $30,000 in debt, with $10,000 of debt being due in the next 6 months, you better believe they take a hard look at their finances and family budget. After identifying essentials, mortgage, heat, electric, the luxuries would have to be slashed. The landscaper, the Friday night dinners out, the weekend trips to the shore. These luxuries would have to cut back the $10,000. The city must do the same. After we pay our essential services, payroll, healthcare costs, and debt service, utilities, we must look to make cuts. However, it looks like some of the frivolous spending in Hackensack continues. Despite cries for change from residents and taxpayers, 3 of you continue to employ Tom Amarato at a cost of $78,000 a year. We've created the position of Director of Economic Redevelopment for a political friend at a salary of $130,000. He gets a car, health insurance, and in all, this probably costs the city $200,000 a year. Why can't we enlist a qualified city manager, the local businesses, the Upper Main Street Alliance, and professionals such as DMR to meet with developers and do the same work? Rather than looking to developers and alternative funding sources, you're considering building a park for $300,000 of taxpayer money, compounding our already severe debt problem through a new bond issue. You know, ShopRite has a can-can sale a few times a year. Just because refried beans are 50% off doesn't mean I'm gonna buy them. I don't need them, I don't like them, and I'm not gonna eat them. How'd the Anderson Street Park work out? On a daily basis, people are drinking alcohol and urinating in the park. How many people have been caught bathing in the fountain in the center of the park? Despite our dire straits and our financial situation, city vehicles continue to be a luxury for countless city employees traveling all over North Jersey. Has the city manager done an inventory on how many city employees have been assigned cars and how many of those employees have been called into the city for an emergency on off hours in the past year? Reimbursing employees for their personal vehicle use would be far better for the city than supplying vehicles to them. This is a perk we just can't afford. I would imagine that the city manager has not done such an inventory because it would damper a rumor that the city is looking at the purchase of 7 Tahoes. Far less fuel efficiency and greater maintenance costs than a Crown Victoria. Almost impossible to believe. The city manager, who is very well aware, or at least should be, of our financial crisis situation, is enjoying these luxuries and his daily commute to Franklin Lakes. He had the audacity to purchase a remote car starter for $255 of taxpayer expense and bill it to a DPW voucher on a budgeted item. This is outrageous. Anyone under the city's employ would be terminated for such a thing. I know there's nothing worse than getting into a car in a 90-degree summer day, but this has to be a joke, I hope. Is it a joke, Mr. Rotino? Is this a joke? Hello?
Please, through the chair, excuse me.
Is this a joke? Or is this real?
Mr. Gelbert, through the chair, please. Thank
The
you.
question I'm asking Mr. Rotino, unless you know, Mayor.
No, I don't. I already stated I do not know the answer, and that's up for Mr. Rotino's decision if he wants to answer that question.
Is Mr. Rotino going to reimburse the city for this car starter?
Again, we have
Mr.
not
Rotino?
asked him to do that as of yet, no.
You think you'll ask him, Mayor?
That's something for the council to discuss. Like I said before, I just found out about the starter at the last meeting.
Okay.
I've really been a little busy to not to worry about a
I
few other
understand that.
things.
The city also hired a municipal prosecutor to a full-time position, which is ordinanced for a part-time position. They've afforded this employee health care. A further drain on the taxpayers up to $30,000 per year. I mentioned landscapers in my small family example. We have a very capable parks and DPW department. What could the explanation be that a private landscaping company was doing mulch and small plantings at Johnson Library last Monday? Is there any reason why that was going on?
Wasn't aware of it, sir.
It happened, Mayor. I was there. It's Armbruster Landscaping. I was absolutely floored when I saw it.
Mr. Gelber, your 5 minutes is up.
Mayor,
Yes,
that
sir.
ordinance is, Mr. Melfi's really not here to enforce that, and I just have to finish. We have a very capable and well-equipped DPW department. Why would we have Yanamort Contracting out paving doing our potholes in Hot Patch? The city has the resources, they have the manpower, they have the equipment, and they have the ability to buy the Hot
Because
Patch.
the amount of potholes we had, we felt it best at that time to bring in more people.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor, any
Please, your
further
time is up,
decision?
Mr. Gelber, really.
Okay.
You have a lot more people
I just want
behind
to
you.
mention, Hackensack PBA Local 9 has never been anything but willing and ready to serve and protect our city. They understand the problems the city faces and have quietly and patiently sat back for 18 months without a contract. They have always been
Mr.
honest
Gelber.
and straightforward with the city. And they're not going to continue
Mr.
to
Gelber,
sit back and be bullied.
I understand your feeling for the police
Yes.
department. We share the
Mayor,
same
Mayor,
feelings
don't
up there.
jeopardize the good
Please.
relationship we have.
We are,
Mayor, don't jeopardize that
please.
relationship. On a personal note, I'm not a CFO. And I
Mr. Gelber.
understand that some of these items are pennies, Mayor.
Mr.
on a budget
Gelber,
our
you're way
size.
over your 5. Come on.
Give me another second, Mayor. You put a very...
Mr. Gelber, I don't want to have, I really don't want to have you removed, Mr. Gelber,
I compliment
please.
you for the CFO you've put in place.
Thank you.
He's a terrific guy with a
We
great
appreciate
reputation. Can't we get a city manager to work with him?
Please.
We
Thank you
saw
for
the
the
changes in the
compliment
police
on Mr.
department,
Magny.
putting a competent director in. Please, Mayor, give consideration to bringing in a competent,
Mr.
qualified
Gelber,
city
your
manager.
time is up.
He
We
can
hear
turn
you.
the city around.
Your
Thank you,
time
Mayor.
is up. Thank you.
Steve Gelber, 304 Clinton Place. Mr. Scrivo, am I allowed to ask Mr. Scrivo questions, or should I do so
Through the
you,
chair,
Mr.
please.
LaBrosse? All right. Through Mr. LaBrosse. Mr. Scrivo, Mr. Rotino mentioned that there's a opinion letter from an attorney, which would be your firm, in Mr. Catania's file. When you guys issued that opinion letter, were you aware that Mr. Catania was obviously an error hired as a full-time employee on his paperwork, because there's an ordinance in this city that it's a part-time position? Were you
That's up
aware
to
of the
you if you'd like
ordinance?
to answer that, attorney, but...
And have you drafted an ordinance that supersedes it, that's been somehow passed in the interim?
Mayor, through you, I believe that the only opinion that I gave, which I expressed at a council meeting not long ago, was that there is no prohibition under the law to provide health benefits to people who work under 30 hours a week, and it is discretion of the council and the city to do that, if it so desires.
So let's just get everyone in here and give them all health insurance. Let's make the problem worse. A city employee came here tonight and he told you about selective enforcement. Some people get some things, some people get other things. Why should this part-time worker get health insurance when no one else is? Mr. Scrivo, another question for you through Mr. LaBrosse. Are Oprah requests a standard part of your daily gig? As a city attorney, I'm sure that you handle many an Oprah request and you review them, and it's probably common practice for you as a city attorney. It's something that would very regularly come across your desk.
Mayor, would you like me to answer?
Yes, sir.
Typically, Mayor, I believe the clerk handles most Oprah requests in the 4 municipalities where I'm the city attorney. Hackensack, not unlike other issues affecting the city, is a little bit different. There is I think what the resident is getting at is probably the number and the billings of Oprah issues that have been associated with our firm's retention, which has been significant. I believe under the prior clerk, our firm handled the majority of those Oprah requests as a result of the city clerk's request. And recently, the new city clerk has kind of taken over, I would say, a close to the majority, certainly a majority and close to all of the Oprah requests.
Okay. Since Ms. Carlson has taken over for Mrs. Heck,
many of my OPA requests continue to be on their own ledger sheet, which are not on the general ledger of Hackensack City Billing. And it seems to be common practice that my OPA requests, when they're reviewed by Mr. Scrivo's firm, wind up on a separate ledger, while other people's OPA requests, when reviewed, wind up on a general ledger. So since general routine legal matters are being capped, I would ask that Mr. Scrivo's firm, in good faith, because you've made a lot of money, anything after that resolution or ordinance, however practice was passed, I would ask that anything of Mr. Gelber's OPA requests that wound up on their own ledger be refunded to the city. I would think that OPA requests are generally part of your job, and I would ask that you, in good faith, refund that to the city. On the topic of the newspaper, I guess Mr. Amarato didn't know how to get off the campaign literature, but I would just offer to you, and you guys know where to find me. You can take me up on it or not. Just because I wouldn't want this to wind up being like another county seat kind of deal, and all news should not be slanted and should have both sides of the opinion. I absolutely volunteer my time to write 2 articles every quarter for you guys. You ever want something, just let me know, and I'm happy to work with Mr. Amarato on that for as long as he should remain under our employ. And just one last item on Mr. Amarato. You mentioned that we have a grant writer. How much do we pay that grant writer?
Mr. Rotino?
$4,000 a month.
Okay. Are you guys aware that when you reviewed the proposals, qualifications for Mr. Amarato's position, when all the answers that came back, there were other firms that offered to do the grant writing as part of their gig?
I don't know that it said that. I'd have to go back and look whether that
It's
was
what
included.
they do. You guys gave the guy a little more. I
was
would think
included
they
in.
did the
I don't
grant
know that
writing.
they were included in the price. They did mention that they did grant writing. I do remember that. I do not recall that they would do it.
Would that have been a discussion with them as to whether or not they would have done our grant
Not
writing?
at the time, because we had already were going a direction, I believe, with a grant writer. We still had Millennium Strategies, who was here before and knows the city.
It's a way to save money.
Possibly.
I would think that you should look into that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gelber. Your time is up. Thank you.
Joe Barretto, Poplar Avenue. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Leo, on behalf of my family, my deepest condolences.
Thank you.
I went through that 2 months ago, and it was the worst day of my life, and I hope you heal.
Thank you.
I wish you the best. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
One thing I wanted to just see if it could be looked into, the municipal lot off of, between State and Main, right off of Clay Street. Last couple of weeks that I've gone through in the evenings to go to dinner, and it's kind of the parking lots behind the restaurants. It's not that well lit, and one day I saw a family with a little child kind of running through there quickly, asked them what something happened, and they just said it was dark, and they were not really comfortable walking through that lot.
What was the address again, Joe? I'm sorry.
It's, you enter through right off of State, and then the street is called Clay, actually, that little piece of street.
Clay Street.
Right,
I
so
didn't hear
it's like,
Clay.
so that lot back there, it's not well lit, and it's kind of broken up into sections, but the people ran through, and they seemed a little bit uncomfortable walking through, and I was wondering if that can just be looked into in terms of the lighting for that particular lot. I mean, they use it to cut across from Main to State and back and forth. It's easier than going around the full block, but in the evening, it's desolate, and if we can just have to see if something could be done with the lighting. I know they have the ones that don't pull as much electricity, but I think it's important to have it brightly lit, especially for those that maybe work at night or are just trying to be there later, that they can get back safely. The other thing, this is just an observation from me. There clearly seems to be a disconnect the last couple of weeks here between the council and the city manager and back and forth. No one really seems to know or wants to stand up for when somebody comes to ask a question, everybody kind of walks on eggshells, and it's a little uncomfortable to see, and I can't imagine to go through. So unlike other people that came up here to just bash the city manager, I'm just going to state that I want to thank him for actually uniting all of Hackensack and hoping that he's removed, because this is the I've never seen this city as close as it is right now. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and my friend is not right there. So it's just really, I think we need somebody that knows Hackensack, that represents Hackensack. There's nothing invested. He has nothing to lose here, but much to gain. It's easy when you consider just clocking in dollars, putting in the hours or so, and then leaving right back. And then you leave our city scratching their heads, wondering, and as they sit in their hot cars without a remote starter, it's not the best thing. So I would just ask, and I hate being sarcastic like this, but it's so abundantly clear. Look at all the residents that keep coming, and the message is loud and clear. Something has to be done. We're hemorrhaging right now, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
Evening.
I'm coming here. My name is Paul in Calcaterra, and I live at 43 Broadway, next to the Cultural Center. I know you have heard me before speak about my problems, and I really am here to beg you to give me some relief. These past 2 weeks, they had a show there called Bloody Bloody, and the drums were just overwhelming. I understand the city wants to have some type of culture and have things, for the residents. I don't know how many people were there. There were probably 6 or 7 shows, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and Sunday on 2 weekends. Now, if you hear the noise that comes out of there, the music and the sounds, you wouldn't want to live there. You wouldn't want to live there. But I know that you've only been in process of government for just a short time. And I know you've got a lot of things on your plate. I know this is a very small thing to be part of, to work on. But I live there. Now, yesterday I came home from school and I hear noise in there. According to the schedule, and you all have the schedule, I believe so, right? Mm-hmm. I've given you, and so I called the recreation director and I said to Gregory Leosio, what's going on there? Well, there should be nothing going on there. There's just some type of rehearsal. Well, I said, but there's a lot of drums. There's noise in there. Well, to make a long story short, there was a radio or some system on there, but it was so loud. And, well, it was overwhelming. It was a heated, and I mean heated, discussion between myself and him. And one of my neighbors heard us because it was out in the front yard area. And he came over and he said, you shouldn't talk to Mr. Incalcaterra that way. He's a citizen and he's a tax-paying citizen. And so it was very unprofessional the way he spoke. And of course, I myself was in a heated discussion about this. However, he said this cultural center may not happen. 4 years ago, I was told that the new cultural center was going to be taking place, and I know that's a process that's still coming up. There's monies, but in the meantime, I have to live there. Before I came here, there was so much noise coming out of that it shakes my house, the windows. I put a call into the city manager's office and left a note to him. Listen, I can't bear this. I don't know where to go. Do you want to come home and hear this? Now, I understand if you have if you have a musical or you have something that not for weeks on end. If you come over to my house, you can hear it. Can we get somebody to come over to maybe listen a little bit? To say, is this guy complaining for no reason at all? I don't want to complain, but I live there. I pay almost $9,000 worth of taxes. I'm trying to be fair with everyone. I'm saying, okay, you're gonna have an event, I'll leave. But I can't stay in that house. I can't, it's like having someone in your driveway playing the music loud. So I'm asking you, that building is not fit to have musical events. And the director that you have there, he's apathetic. There's no caring of, oh, gee, you know, it's a little loud, maybe I could turn it down. No, that doesn't go on. So I'm asking you, no insulation, 10 feet from maybe 12 feet from my bedroom window. If they jump in there at night, you can hear it, boom. I'm asking you to please look at the schedule. Get rid of the musical events. Talk to someone who needs to be talked to. I don't know who to talk to. Mr. Rotino is supposed to have a meeting with me tomorrow. Am I correct? Yes. Okay. So at 9:30, I'm hoping to be able. Is that between the two of us, or is there anyone else involved? Okay.
Between you and I.
Okay, good. Okay. Please, please. I don't want to come home and have to deal with this. I started this 14 years ago, and there was some relief. But all of a sudden, it's not coming about. So I've been abandoned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, please.
Good evening, Francis Kajalja, 88 Catalpa Ave. I was just wondering if when the city inspectors instituted the Project Pride program, if they actually went on every single block in the city. And the reason I'm asking is because my house was cited last fall because we have some raised slabs on our property. And I did reach out to the inspector because the deadline to get it fixed was May 1st. I told them that we were getting estimates because obviously it's going to cost at least a couple of $1,000s. So I'm wondering if they did look at every block, because when I just walk right around the corner on Willow, there are numerous houses with raised slabs that are much worse than my house, and I don't know, you know, did those people get cited, or, you know what I mean? So did they just kind of pick and choose, like, well, these slabs look bad, but these look bad too, but we're not going to cite those people? Because like I said, it's a huge expense. It's several $1,000s for us to repair just like 6 or 7 slabs, and we are going to comply, and the city inspector was very nice. He's like, as long as you get it done, it's fine. But I'm just wondering if the Project Pride was instituted citywide.
It is citywide, but they didn't get to every, I'm sorry, Mayor, is it okay for answer?
Yes, absolutely.
It's, they didn't, they're going eventually hit every street to do sections at a time. And eventually they will get there. It's, you know, it's a good sized city for 3-4 inspectors, so.
Okay, so
we'll
if
get to all of them.
there are.
If you see something that's an issue, if you go down to.
Well, no, I mean, I don't want to,
No,
you know,
but there's a
call out a
form.
certain house, and then
Oh,
now
no,
that person has to
it's-
deal with thousands of dollars in repairs like I do.
Oh, if you see something, people, there's a form there you can fill out, just pointing out, like on such and such a street, you notice a lot, and they'll go out there and they'll address it for you. So it's a matter of safety. People don't
Well, yeah, I noticed it because my daughter tripped, and, you know, then I noticed
What's your address?
I'm 88 Catalpa, but this particular property is on Willow. So I'm just wondering, Mr. Mayor, being that the Project Pride has not done the entire city, is there any way that, you know, our property can get like an extension or something like that until the whole city is done and, you know, they've gone through every block? Or is this something that, you know, we have to get done, you know, this summer?
I would defer to the city manager on that, because that's not
If
part
you
of our
need
policy.
If you need an extension for something, just a worker or getting people there to do the work, we can grant extensions like that, but we can't grant it for the entire city. Otherwise, then nothing will ever get done. Everybody wait for
Okay.
everybody else. So it's a work in progress. Every month they do more. We meet every month to review it.
Okay, and my other question is, actually, I had emailed Mr. Rottino, and I believe I copied the superintendent of Hackensack Schools, because my son goes to the high school, so I'm there quite often, basically every day. And the area surrounding the high school is just, you know, there's a lot of litter, it's filthy, it's very blighted. And so I had reached out to Mr. Rottino asking, was there any way to get possibly like more garbage cans, maybe signs that saying like, you know, show your common pride, please don't litter. Because, you know, as you're driving those blocks surrounding the high school, it's sad. It really looks sad. Because like I said, tons of litter, there's hardly any garbage cans, no signs. So I'm just wondering, is there something that can be done maybe in collaboration with like DPW and the custodial staff at the high school to really, you know, kind of improve the look of that area? And that's especially like First Street, that's a big through street, for people just driving through the city, perhaps, on their way to Hackensack Medical Center or what have you. And I'm just wondering if anything could be done, especially like right next to the Padavano Center, that underpass. The Padavano Center is like immaculate, and then you just look a few feet over and it's like overgrown weeds, garbage everywhere. And, I think it's really sad for the kids, that are playing baseball, tennis, to have to see garbage everywhere. It's, it really doesn't, show our common pride when, there are no receptacles, there's no sign saying, so just kind of want to get some feedback on what could be done there.
Okay, well, we have, actually, just recently, Councilman Sims and I were just in an area, we did American Legion Drive with a group of students on the Slam the Junk Day in Hackensack, which was a cleanup day. But I think one of the ways to approach it is more of those, because it's like practice becomes perfect. If you get the people in the habit and get more people involved in cleaning up, obviously it's going to take hold sooner than later. We do have a lot of problem with the railroad trestles. It's actually railroad property. It's impossible to get them cleaned up, so we kind of have to do it ourselves. The one on First Street and the one on, I guess that's Second Street there? Yeah, they're both bad. I agree with you 100%.
And
Just
I
like,
was
seems
also
like a
wondering
collection
if,
site.
I have noticed, like when you go on Main Street, how we have the banners that, basically saying like this is, a Main Street revitalization area, what have you. Do you know what I'm referring to? They're not, regular signs. They're more like banners.
Right.
And I've noticed similar things when my son plays baseball in different towns. They have something similar, kind of announcing that you're approaching the school, you're coming close to the high school. I think Ridgewood was a town where I most recently saw it. And I was wondering, could we have something like that? That
Something we could
says,
look
HHS, Home of the Comets, something.
Your 5 minutes is up, Fran.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but
Thank
we will
you.
look into those banners or something like that.
Thank you,
Something in
appreciate
that
it.
area. Thank you.
Good evening, Kathleen Salvo, 184 Hudson Street, Hackensack. The Project Pride concept was great. It looked good on paper, but unfortunately, it's not being implemented. Basically, because we have a dysfunctional property maintenance department. I've complained about them numerous times. They're selective in their code enforcement. Some people may get a summons. Person next door might have the same problem and they don't get a summons. And I always joke that Mr. Burley has 2 books, one for friends, family, and campaign donors, and the one for the rest of us. And this is happening. And I thought now, after our group got in, that they would remedy this and they would go to this department and make it more functional. Before, when we had redevelopment in Hackensack, the whole concept was to clean it up first, to make it more marketable so that developers would want to come in. Well, all our thoroughfares coming into Hackensack, basically, Hudson Street, Essex Street, they're a mess. And there's all violations that haven't been taken care of as of yet. And again, I blame our property maintenance thing. Also, the qualified towing, I had mentioned this before. Yes, they didn't pay us insurance, but how was it allowed to get to that state? That did not happen overnight. That happened over so many years because the property maintenance did not do their job. As I said, I resent using that number to report people that are in violation, because then it goes back and they say that I reported them because they're too wimpy to go in on their own to take care of it. There are so many violations that, as we ride through Hackensack, everybody can see, and I don't know if we got used to them, but they're just there, and it shouldn't be. And we need to revamp that whole property maintenance / building department. It needs a lot of help. I was very disappointed with this publication. It's like on the same order as the county seat that we thought we got rid of. And at a big expense. We have to tighten our belts. We have numerous problems. You have a lot of money. The other administration left you with a lot of problems. And when you have, like Mr. Gelba said, if your budget is tight and you have problems, you owe people money, you have to stop with the perks. You have to stop spending money like crazy and cut down on your expenses. Don't give people stipends for things. Don't create jobs. Don't just tighten your belts and watch where your money goes so that we have the money for what we need it for. You don't have to do those programs in the park. You don't have to do 4th of July. We're in trouble. We're in financial trouble. Tighten our belts for a year, and then when the money comes back, then do the perks, then do the entertainment, and do the stuff that really is not not required and not important. Again, to our attorney, was it unethical for,
Through the chair, please.
to the
Ms.
chair,
Sowell.
sorry, Mr. Mayor, was it unethical for Mr. Rotino to pay for this out of pocket, to get this thing televised? We never televised the meetings before the council meetings.
Mr. Scrivo?
Mayor, I believe I answered the question previously when I said that it's anyone can possibly pay to tape a meeting.
Okay. Well, I thought that it had to be other than somebody that's being employed by the city. When we did it on our own. I also agree with Mr. Beretta. I think we've come in together. I think a lot of people in this room want to see Hackensack move forward, and we're not moving in the right direction. We need professionals to run the city. We need to stop thinking we owe anybody something to keep people here. We need a professional city manager, and we wouldn't be in this predicament that we are. And a lot of people in this room, whether we're on one side or the other, we want to see Hackensack move forward, and we care about Hackensack. And we can't keep people here that are not working effectively. We got a good CFO. We have a good police department with Mr. Modega. The person who controls the committee or whether it be the building department or property maintenance is the person who makes the city, who improves upon the city, and it's not happening at this point. So I wish you guys would reconsider as to what you're going to do and move forward and unite us. And a year has been wasted. We have 3 more years, and we want to see you to become productive, and then we're not going the right route. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Deborah Keeling Geddes, Hamilton Place. I'd just like to read a little list here that I compiled. Sold 65 cars and trucks, unused and unneeded vehicles, generated money for the city and saved money on insurance of vehicles. Renegotiated a land sale for unused city lots on Kip and Lodi Streets for double the price that the previous administration was willing to sell for. They wanted to sell for $75. It was sold for $150. Increased garbage pickup twice a week at no additional cost to the city. Reduced sanitation department overtime by 50%, $12,000 a month savings. Achieved a 40% savings on uniforms, t-shirts, equipment for the recreation department. Initiated design of a new recreation center, hired new staff at the recreation center. Capped legal fees and saved $300,000 from July 1st. Okay, can't read my notes, sorry. Okay. Found $600,000 in unused bond money to offset costs of new fire engine ladder truck. Initiated 5-year tax abatement policy to help spur redevelopment. I think so far 2 developers have come forward. Settled the Polyfly towing situation. Obtained $24,000 for the city and getting a commitment from the owner to vacate by May 31st. Once the property is vacated, the property will be cleaned at their expense, Polyfly Towing's expense, and put on the market and will generate thousands of dollars for the city in revenue. Reinstated county office open space grant for Atlantic Street Park. Obtained grants for Pulaski and Columbus parks. Increased road paving in the city. Solved flooding on Newman and Kennedy streets that have been there for years. The city removed 80 tons of stuff from the water pipes. Anyway, and the business owner, Mr. Pete Wysocki, wrote a letter applauding Mr. Rotino's accomplishments. Resolved flooding problem on Old Hoboken Road. Worked with the county to give the city new lights for the soccer field. We're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But you have to give just due to what Mr. Rotino has done so far. Nobody's perfect. But let's even this out a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Rotino, for what you're doing and what you are going to do for the city.
Mayor, hello. Just want to tell you, Gelber's right.
Next, please.
This is making.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Harry Comp, 21 Passaic Street in Hackensack. I come to you as a past president of the Hackensack Chamber of Commerce, one of the trustees in the Upper Main Alliance, a person that was born in this city, went through Hackensack public school systems, have lived here all my life, and have seen the city dwarf and just stay stagnant 30 years. And some of the business community were asked to, gather, join, do something. And it's been tried so many times. I felt very proud to be part of this group. And I tell you, I hear a lot of challenges that the city has, even more than what I thought I knew. And we can't turn our backs on our police department. That's for sure, in my opinion. These are the people that are really doing a job now, and the pride is back. You have a tough job. You have a real tough job because there's a lot of hard decisions that need to be made. We brought to you and to the previous administration a great group of professional vendors to guide the city and to really guide our organization so we could properly present to the city. And previous administration, this administration, you've all embraced the alliance, the redevelopment of Hackensack. We're just a bunch of business people, some who are maybe in real estate, some that are in hair business, some that are in the rug business, but they're dedicated people. And what they don't know and what you don't know, you bring professionals in to help guide you. I would see it very shameful if at this point it seems like the city has embraced, the administration has embraced the potential development. It's started, it's happened, it's happening. It probably is the one thing that maybe could really help the city to dig out. New ratables. I've been at meetings where these new owners of property are, they're chomping at the bit to redevelop. And in order for something to happen, it's very scary to people that have what they have and they feel like they're going to lose a parking space or their business is going to be harmed. I hear things that the council and the developers, not your developer, your Fran, when they say, these questions have been answered, the parking garage is going to be disassembled of the Hackensack Medical Center people that park there, and it's going to be returned to the city. It's going to be able to be used by the shoppers. It's going to be able to be used by the even the apartment building that's there. It's the first project that came out of the ground. If we don't help strengthen the wings and we clip the wings, then, we're going back to the same place where we were. If there's always going to be opposition, no matter what there is, there's always going to be opposition. There's a lot of hard choices, but the oppositions, they have to be overcome by the vision of the future. And that future, a lot of people can't see, and it really is something that can happen. What they say about open space, my opinion of needing a park, but when I hear the professionals say, listen, you put the park there, you develop this cultural arts center, move forward in your convictions and what you've done, you have something to move forward with. We have something there. The time is now. If you put the brakes on things and developers start to get scared because there's uneasiness. There's decisions that need to be made. They're not being made. They're hem and haw, and all of a sudden things slow down with this great momentum. I'm scared that you really put back 10 years of work, and this really, truly was 10 years of work easy, because I remember meeting in this back room here with very few people when it didn't even start yet. We helped to get it started, and it would be a shame. So, bring your consultants to the people that need to hear what it is the city is going to do to help them, give them the assurance that they need, and just move forward with, hey, a park, they need open space, that's what you got to do. The developers are coming, they're knocking at your door, don't slow that down, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Comp.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience? Seeing none, motion closed to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, we find it necessary to go back in,
Now,
discuss.
can we make,
Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to go public comments. Mr. Battaglia?
Thank you for coming. I want to thank everybody for the phone calls and the card related to my mother's death. And she was 91. She got a good life, a long life. So I want to thank everybody.
Ms. Canestrino?
Yes, I'd like to take just a minute to talk about a couple of resolutions tonight dealing with the tax appeal problems that we're encountering. And I apologize for if some of the attachments were not included in the copies that were distributed. I guess at one point we'll have to get some of that information out to the public should you want it. Just so everyone understands, I mean, we're looking at $10 million in tax refunds. I mean, that's $10 million that we're going to have to pay as a city this year in tax refunds. These cases, all of them go back to at least 2007, and there's a few of them that even go back to 2005. I mean, it was broken up tonight into two different resolutions, and just so you understand what that breakdown means, one of them talked about a resolution authorizing unsettled cases. That means these cases were already, there was already, the negotiation had been done. There were dollar numbers assigned to the changes in the assessed value of those properties. The amount of cases, the number, the dollar value on those settled cases, now these were already stipulated prior to any of us here taking office, is $8.3 million. Looking at 8.3 of this $10 million that already had been negotiated and was ready to come before the mayor and council for approval to pay. That last step never happened. Now, I have to take liberties here, but I'm going to address Mr. Nunemacher's comment in the record, saying that this administration should not be blaming any of the prior administrations for this. Mr. Nunemacher, someone needs to be accountable for where we are here today. It's my turn to talk. My turn to talk. No, you can't. There's nothing from the audience.
Speak to her after the meeting.
Many of you that attend a lot of council meetings or have in the past probably remember a remark that I made to a council member or two in the past, claiming they had their head in the sand. And there was a lot of discussion that I shouldn't have said such a thing. What better example do we have here? This, to me, is disgraceful. Talking about being fiscally irresponsible, to know you have an $8.3 million bill and you're not addressing it. Yes, we did inherit this nightmare, Mr. Nunemacher, and we're taking it head on. And we're taking it head on and keeping the residents informed and aware of where we are every step of the way, because it's our responsibility as a city to handle these problems, and that's what this administration is going to do. A number of people tonight talked about tightening belts. Absolutely. We have a CFO here who's been working tirelessly. If you've been to the prior meetings, you've heard that our budget is in the process of being amended. Why do you think we're doing that? He is scrubbing the numbers, getting them as clean as they can, putting us in the best possible position, because we know we have this, we inherited this responsibility. Yes, we inherited it. But now it's all of our responsibilities. We need to address it, and we need to move on to the business of the day and getting Hackensack back on track to where it should be. A number of people tonight said, yes, we're getting distracted with things and we're not making the progress. This was a huge, huge distraction. $10 million? Huge. But we have not lost our focus, I promise you that. We will keep you as informed as we can. We will handle this in the best way we can for the city and continue our marching towards progress with redevelopment and all of the other issues that we've talked about as a group. Have faith in us. Have faith in our CFO. He has a good plan, and we're going to stick to it. Thanks for coming tonight. Sorry to be the talker of bad things tonight, but I think it had to be addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Sims.
This weekend, if you're not going away for the holiday, Hackensack Baseball is having the annual Memorial Day tournament down at Fashini Park. As Mr. Rotino said, on Monday at 10 a.m. at Veterans Park, we'll be having our annual ceremony honoring military soldiers that are no longer with us. And last, the summer camp. There's 3 weeks left to sign up. The theater camp and the extended camp is halfway full. So don't wait till the last minute. And I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We hear your concerns. Thank you.
Ms. Freeman.
Okay. I'm going to thank Harry Camp for encouraging us. I applaud you. Thank you so much for your support. It's invaluable. Thank you. Mr. Schneiderman is not here, and I would like to tell him that we owe him a debt of gratitude for being here, standing up for the city, and for the wonderful painting that he so graciously offered to us. I don't want to forget the incredible job that our interim manager has been doing tirelessly and without people respecting him or disrespecting him to the degree that they did. I would like to, this is just irresponsible to do things like that, but I expect better, but you know what? Hope springs eternal. Debbie Killig did a great job in describing everything that you do, and probably I'm going to forget a whole lot more that I would like to add, but I would like to address another situation that's been on my mind for 2 weeks. And I took terrific offense of Mayor LaBrosse saying something and taking something to the newspaper. I think it was very reckless. This attack had impugned the characters of 3 members of this council. It impugned our characters, our reputations as coup makers. This was done without evidence and without a cause. I believe it just was purely political. We were elected as a team. If the mayor had a concern, a legitimate concern, he should have addressed it with the council and not with the media. Betrayal, this was a betrayal of every democratic principle, and it takes a Russian girl to tell it. Somebody who grew up in a totalitarian state, who came here because of that. This is democracy. This is not dictatorship. We, as council members, should not be precluded from having a different opinion. We each have a vote, and we should vote our conscience each and every time. Nothing less should be expected of us. We are not anyone's pawns, not anyone's. We stand up for ourselves. Nobody controls me. I want to reassure everyone that I stand for myself. I stand for all the people in Hackensack that elected us, that trusted us to do the right thing, and we're going to do the right thing. In putting three of us in false light, unfortunately, brought a very negative attention and drew energy from us, from the council, and moved us away from going and working towards our goals. We are squandering our political capital. I want to underline it. There are a whole lot of people out there who wish us ill. We should not allow it to happen. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming. Mr. Amorata, no, thank
No comments,
you so much.
please, from out there. Long night, we still have to go in the back room. I will, sir, thank you. I'll start responding with that. Yeah, Mrs. Greenman is, or Ms. Greenman is totally entitled to her opinion, but in democracy, so am I. Democracy to me means we can disagree, and you can vote your way, and I may have to live with that, but it certainly doesn't mean I have to agree with it. And that's, to me, is democracy. Now, the coup word or whatever, however you take it, there was a definite issue with this council that came about after Mrs. Canestrino and myself separated ourselves from Mr. Amorata. And I'm not going to paint it any other way, all right? There was a definite change in attitude, and like I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I'm entitled to mine also. As far as Mr. Rotino, you know what? A lot of what Deborah Killing said, Mr. Rotino has been very good at economic development. He's done a lot of good things for this city. Absolutely, you cannot deny it. A lot of the things this city is moving forward with are due to Mr. Rotino. I will not deny that, all right? It's up for this council as a whole to decide which way we're going to move forward. And we, like I said, it all comes to our opinions again and what we think is best for the city of Hackensack. And that will be decided amongst this council. Mr. Kahn, I couldn't agree with you more. A plan is a plan. Put a lot of time into this. I'm fully committed to this rehabilitation of this downtown. Mrs. Canestrino said in the past, you can do one thing and work on something else parallel. We have a lot of things going on right now, all right? We have redevelopment, we have the rehabilitation of our Main Street, we have police contracts, we have an interim city manager, we have a lot of stuff on our plate, all right? And we're working at it. We're working at it. Contrary to what people may be hearing or saying, this council's still working, all right? We're a working unit. We can have disagreements. The word cookie cutter has been used before. We're certainly not all the same people. We're all going to have our own way of doing things and our own little disagreements. And hopefully we just move on past that. This is about work. There's a lot of work to do right now to get the city moving forward. This tax appeal burden couldn't happen at a worse time. Its timing is everything. The fact that we have to go out and bond $10 or $11 million from a local finance board affects so many different things that we want to do. You have no idea. It affects our police contracts. It affects our ability to go one and two, to two-way streets. It affects everything because it's literally 10% of our overall budget in this city. 10%. I mean, think about that. Everybody in this room knows what they bring in a year, or what their liquid assets or their spending ability is. And just think about losing 10% of that, because the decisions that are going to be made by the city in the near future are going to decide whether we are able to float a bond to help us with that or not. And the thought of not being able to float a bond and passing that 10% right on to the taxpayer is frightening. It's frightening. All right? And you know what? Not something we asked for, it's something we got, and it's something, like the deputy mayor said, that we will have to deal with, and we will deal with it. And I want everybody out there to know this council's is working together. We're in contact with each other. There is communication, and we're moving forward. All right? And with that, I want to wish everybody. I also want to thank Mr. Schneiderman for that wonderful painting. It's actually pretty cool when you really look at it, to think that he sat back there in 1956 in his apartment looking out on a snowy day and decided to paint this picture. And it ends up in 2014 in this hall right now for us to see. That's a long time, and it's quite impressive. And he's got an impressive resume. And he's always been him and his wife have always been very kind and nice people. I want to wish everybody a safe trip home, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Please, we have to go in the back.
Resolution calling for an executive meeting of the City Council for the following purposes. Whereas the Mayor and Council of the City of Hackensack deem it necessary to discuss certain actions under Sections 7B7 and 7B8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, which pertains to matters falling within attorney-client privilege, ongoing litigation, and personnel matters concerning the employment of a current or prospective public employee. Whereas the Mayor and Council of the City of Hackensack is of the opinion that such circumstance may presently exist. Whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss the following issues: personnel matters, ongoing litigation, matters involving attorney-client privilege. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the City of Hackensack deem it necessary to exclude the public from this discussion. The outcome of the discussion will be disclosed within 90 days or at such time as the interests of the city do not require confidentiality.
Motion, please.
Roll call.
Councilmember Battaglia. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Sims. Councilmember Greenman.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.